Anxiety and depression, those are the two words, keywords actually. We've been listening so much, for the last couple of years. And we've been trying to bring you different tools to help manage these two things, right? Today we bring yoga therapy. So I'm talking to a yoga therapist today, Joss. She is joining me live from Thailand, and she's going to talk about effectiveness of using yoga therapy on a daily basis for all of us to feel less anxious and hopefully help manage depression. Thank you so much and namaste.
Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and really excited to talk about this topic. So, by no means am I an expert. I really value your feedback. I'd love to connect with anyone watching this. And, I would like to share before we get into this that I used to suffer with anxiety and depression really bad. And I don't know about you, but I was taking like medication, lots of different medications for both. And I was also going to talk therapy, which I absolutely love. But I found I was going in circles, like I wasn't really moving forward with it. And I kept trying to find something that would work, like what's going to make me feel better. So honestly, I tried everything. But when I got into yoga therapy, things started to lift for me. Things started to change. And so that's why I want to share this with you, is because I'm just so passionate about it. But yeah, I think it's, one of the reasons that it did work for me and it works for so many people is because it gives you the tools to be your own inner healer, to feel empowered. And I think that's what we're, a lot of us have been missing, is just how can we be empowered with our own self-care? Yeah. So a big question, which I think I should explain, is what is yoga therapy? Right? I get a lot of people saying, like, I say, have you tried yoga therapy? And they say, oh, is it like a yoga class? Well, I'm not flexible. So, I would love to share with you that yoga therapy, it's not a yoga class. It's very much a therapeutic setting. And yes, it does use the tools of yoga, right? So it's pulling in these tools of like breath work and, meditation and affirmation and all these wonderful things mixed with a Western understanding of the body. But it's like hyper focused on what your specific issue is. So if you come in with anxiety or depression to a yoga therapy session, it's going to be focused on, okay, how do we help you cope and manage with this? How do we empower you? And how do we meet you where you're at? So for me, that was really, really life-changing and inspired me to get into this profession. So this is what I think about, this sort of modality of healing, of feeling better. In Western society, I find a lot that things are compartmentalized, right? It's like you go to the doctor and you say your wrist hurts. And so that's like focused on this little space on your wrist. And it's like very like a physical focus. You wouldn't focus on like the mental aspects, the energetics, the emotional part of what you're going through. But it very much could be an emotional experience that you're also having, right? The mind, body, soul connection. And that's what I love about yoga therapy. If you come in for anxiety or depression, I don't know about you, but like I had physical ailments as well when I had depression and anxiety, like major pain and tension in my neck. I had digestion issues, and of course the emotional and mental aspects. And so you're coming into this therapeutic setting and you're getting to look at your mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit connection. And this is called the biopsychosocial spiritual model. And I absolutely love it. So for me, that approach was what started to, transform things, as I was able to look at, wow, this is what's going on with me emotionally, and this is what's going on with me physically. And I can work on it all together and look at all the layers of me.
Okay, so what I want to do is, and you're absolutely right, if we are having any, like for example, anxiety and depression, it translates into some kind of a pain because, the mental part is related to physical, and then the digestion is, we all know that gut health and mental health is, there's a highway going on, right? So if you have anxiety, then it is going to impact or impair your digestion. What I really want to do in this particular session is the actual takeaway as far as different type of postures or different type of breathing, that can actually help? If you could just kind of elucidate a little bit on that angle.
Absolutely. I would love to get into that. There was just so much research and so many studies on how yoga can be used as a tool to help with anxiety and depression. And like, there's just too many to share. So I found a few, and yeah, we can certainly do a few as well. So one of the things that has been found is that slow breathing and calming yoga forms stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. And so if you think about in specific somebody who suffers from anxiety, they're living more in their sympathetic nervous system or their stress response or their fight or flight, right? So knowing that actually you can just do slow breathing every day and gentle forms, and it's going to bring you into that part of your nervous system. That's really empowering, and it's not difficult. So one of the things that you could do is a longer exhale, right? So there's a lot of different breath works, but this is a really simple one that you could start, is taking a longer exhale than an inhale. This is meant to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. When you do this, you might notice where you want to bring your hands, right? You could ask yourself a few questions like, well, where do I feel my center today? Or where do I feel a little bit of extra tension today that I want to bring a little bit of ease? For me, I would say like in my belly when I had a lot of stress and anxiety. So you could sit here, you could lay down, you could bring an inhale, maybe to a count of 4 if you want to count it. And then on your exhale, maybe it's, to a count of 6 or 8, right? I mean, we can all do this. And it has an effect on what we're experiencing in our symptoms, right? Another thing that you could explore if you want to do actual forms and tools right now is exploring a restorative pose that opens up, your heart and your chest. I wouldn't say necessarily for someone who has a lot of anxiety that you'd want to jump into that pose, but for someone who is going through depression, this might be something that you could explore. So for example, taking a bolster or a pillow, reclining and bringing it sort of like by your shoulder blade area. So you roll your shoulders back. And then imagine being in this form where you're really focused on opening and creating some space in your heart, and then doing those breaths where it's the longer exhale. So that could be a great way for you to start. But I will say, one thing that is really important with all this work is opening up to guidance and community. So you can do this stuff all on your own as much as you want. And, for sure it's going to give benefits. But I think that, healing in community and healing with guidance is a huge part of the journey as well.
Absolutely. Guided meditation, mindfulness. I mean, there's a lot of research, as you said. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about simple postures. Like I think all of us are aware of different yoga postures now because it has become so popular. But maybe just help us with 4 or 5 postures that people can do by themselves. And you talked about inhaling, exhaling more to get the parasympathetic system going for calming the nervous system. But what about some of the postures that you could maybe name few of them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one that I just named, I'd say that's a great one, like a kind of like a heart bed or like a gentle back heart opener. Sorry. I think that's a great pose. But if you wanted to start, let's say seated, you could do like a cross-legged position and do a seated cat cow, because this is going to get into the undulation of your spine. It's great for your fascia, for your nervous system. And I think pretty much anyone can explore this pose with ease. So how it looks is just bringing your hands onto your knees. And as you gently come forward, you're going to lift through your heart and slightly arch your back. As you exhale, you're going to round, tuck your chin, and kind of curl your tailbone up. Exhale, right? So you could go for as long as you like, and just sort of notice that it's very rhythmic and relaxed. If it feels forced or like kind of crunchy, take your time with it and keep exploring it as you do the slow breathing, right? So from here, after you feel like you're kind of in a rhythm, and if you wanted to stay seated, just again, focusing on your chest and your heart and opening up this space, you might explore a few side folds. So your hand could be down or you could reach your hand up, right? Going to either side. From here, I would say maybe you'd like to explore a different breath work. So you already know the longer exhale pose, right? Another really, really wonderful breath work for anxiety or depression that might feel great for you is humming bee breath or Brahmari breath. So essentially on your exhale, you're just making a humming sound, right? It's pretty simple. When I do it, I like to do gentle tapping to get into my fascia, right? Fascia responds to tapping. And I think it's a really great combination. It also really pulls you into the present moment. And for someone like me who used to suffer with anxiety, where you're really in your head and you're thinking about a lot, really pulls you into your body. So this is a great little sequence that you could do. And maybe as you close it up, you could come into that heart bed or that little heart opener.
Okay. I think that's humming bee actually, by the way, has a research associated with it to help calm the nervous system. I also wanted to mention that chanting of Om, right? It has a clinical
Mm.
trial done. So I wanted you to talk about how chanting and mantra chanting can help with anxiety and depression. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. And yeah, also with the Brahmari breath, I just want to quickly add that it's also been known to reduce heart rate and blood pressure as well, that humming breath, right? Yeah, so really, really great benefits. In terms of the mantras, I think mantras, chanting, and affirmation, I personally love them because I think it sort of gives this sort of confidence and connection to self more, right? When you actually hear your voice and you sort of come into your own experience. So for me, it's been really life changing to use mantras, and especially in my personal practice when I'm working with clients, I always start by coming up with an affirmation for everyone based on their, what they're going through. I trust myself. I am grounded. I am strong. So I feel like when you sort of repeat these mantras or these affirmations, you're building like a new neural pathway in your brain, right? You're building a new groove. And this takes time. You can't just say it once and you can't just be thinking it. It's like say it out loud, like post it everywhere in your house, right? Like teach yourself every day, like this is my new way forward. And it will work. And one great sort of like analogy, I guess, is when you're building like a new mindset shift and a new neural pathway, think about like a really messy field, right? And okay, you're gonna like go through with like the lawnmower and you're gonna make this new path, but you've got to upkeep it because the grass is going to grow again. It's the same with your brain. If you're like, okay, I want to trust myself more, I want to feel calm and grounded. Can you do this every day? For example, you're doing this little sequence that I did, and maybe you start it with, I am calm, I am grounded. At least 3 times say this, I am calm, I am grounded. When you finish your practice, bring your hands. Naturally, I bring my hands to my heart, but maybe you bring your hands out. Trust the wisdom of your body always. Mean it as you say it and notice how your body feels, right? And it's okay. Like sometimes you'll say mantras or affirmations and it doesn't resonate quite yet. That's okay. Just be honest with what you're feeling and keep giving yourself that space to explore it and go into it. I'm such a believer in this. I think it works. And I think it's, again, just a part of the mind, body, spirit connection as you do these journeys.
Absolutely. So simple steps like simple combination of mantra chanting with Brahmari pranayama, with simple seated poses that you talk about. So even if you do a simple sequences, 5 minutes a day, that can help you with this, with helping you calm yourself and feel less anxious, right? I mean, that's a sequence that
Yes.
you're suggesting. I just anything else you want to add, like a simple sequence or anything else that you think that we can do on a daily basis?
Well, I love that you use the word simple because I think that's the most important thing is to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, right? And I find with a lot of people, especially in Western society where we're in this masculine sort of style of living where we're go, 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 you reach these goals and, you know, we complicate things and we think like, oh, we don't have time for this, but with what I've just shared, it's like, could you take 5 minutes a day and keep it simple? Pick one breath work, pick the Brahmari breath, the humming bee breath, or pick those, longer exhales. Notice what it resonates with you. Do a few forms, maybe like cat cow or opening your heart. Say a few affirmations. Maybe add in a mudra at the end. For example, the Hakini mudra, where you're sort of pressing the fingertips together, noticing a sense of balance in your body, right? Everyone's going to be totally different, and it's going to take time for you to learn what you like. The best thing is can you get curious? Can you explore? Some breath work you're not going to like. Maybe it doesn't resonate with you. Some forms, for example, that heart opening pose, some people are going to go into that pose and go, this feels really uncomfortable and I feel nervous and I don't like it, right? That's not your pose. But don't, think that this isn't for you. Just trust that there's going to be something else that's going to work for your experience. But yeah, keep it simple. Let's say you do a little mini ritual. It has a breath work in it. It has some gentle yoga forms, an affirmation, and perhaps a mudra, if that resonates with you.
Absolutely. I think you said it really beautifully. The four things that,
Yeah.
breath work, mudras, affirmations, and what was the fourth one? I'm sorry.
Mudras, affirmations, gentle forms, and breath work.
So gentle forms is the postures, the yoga postures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I just say that sometimes. Sorry, I say gentle forms sometimes because some people are like, I don't know how to do yoga. And when they're first starting, so that's why I wasn't thinking I was saying that. Sorry.
No worries. Well, simple four things that all of us can do on a daily basis. That's what we are bringing to you: advocacy, education of holistic wellness, the importance of that for your well-being. And please take it free. It's every day we bring the free sessions from holistic experts all over the world, and we've created a beautiful platform for you to start learning about it. So with that, thank you so much, and namaste, Joss, for joining me from Thailand, the beautiful island of I know you're somewhere in a beautiful island in Thailand. So much for being there for us, for helping us educate and bring take this message to as many people as possible.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.